logistics out of the way so we can get straight to the fun with our experts today. So just please note that following today's presentation, you'll receive an email from our presenter, Erin, including the webinar recording and the slides so you can review it and share it with your colleagues. I also wanted to let you guys know that we will have dedicated time for Q&A following the presentation, so be sure to submit your questions throughout the webinar and we'll get to as many as possible. For those of you who are not familiar with WordStream, we are a search marketing software with free and paid tools to help you easily grow your AdWords and Bing campaigns. So if you're looking to learn more about paid search, definitely check out our PPC University at wordstream.com/learn. Now, during today's webinar, we encourage you to be social, so definitely join in on the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag PPCLife, and also be sure to follow at WordStream and our two presenters, Margot and Erin. Now, I'm really excited that we have Erin and Margot with us today. They both have recently been named to the list of most influential PPC experts by PPC Heroes, so they know what they're talking about. Margot is our content marketing specialist, and a fun fact about her, she's a former windsurfer instructor, which I think is pretty cool. We definitely encourage you to follow her on Twitter. You'll see all of her blog posts, her upcoming webinars, and be sure to keep up with her at industry conferences because she's been traveling. Check that out. Next we have Erin, who has been with WordStream for 4+ years now. She is our PPC evangelist and community manager, and when she isn't traveling alongside Margot around the country and speaking at conferences and posting to our blog, you can find her hula hooping around Boston. So be sure to keep up with her on Twitter for all the latest and greatest. Now, before passing it over to our presenters, we want to learn a little bit more about you guys. So launch a poll to understand a little bit more. So what do you dislike about AdWords? Is it too time-consuming for you? Is it way too expensive? Are you not getting the results that you want? Are you unsure if your business needs it, or other? So I'm going to give you guys a second to answer that. And then I'm going to close the poll out. Give you one more minute. Oh, interesting results. It's almost a split across all five answers. So it looks like we have a wide variety of attendees today, and I'm going to hand it over to Margot and Erin to kick it off.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Callie. So we're starting with this big question, like, does AdWords really work? And you're sitting here on a webinar with WordStream, which is obviously a company that is very, a very huge proponent of AdWords with two PPC evangelists. So yeah, duh, of course we think AdWords works. But let's take this a step further. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are naysayers, if you will. You know, as Taylor Swift would say, the haters are going to hate. A lot of people out there who don't believe AdWords works, don't think that people need AdWords to advertise for their business. We hear this every day, all of these kind of anti-AdWords things. So on the webinar today, our goal is to help you understand why AdWords works. If you have clients who are opposing that you use AdWords for them, if you have a boss who's hesitant about upping your AdWords budget or allowing you to continue advertising on AdWords, this is the webinar for you. Our goal is to help you figure out how to respond to some of these AdWords haters and help them understand why this could be a good fit for your business. So without further ado, Margot and I are going to destroy the top 5 PPC misconceptions out there. And I'll hand it over to Margot to get started.
All right, hey guys, I want to start with one misconception that we hear oftentimes just meeting people in the industry or traveling to conferences or even just chatting with people on the phone, which is that their SEO is so good that they don't need to do PPC. And when I hear this, usually I kind of just laugh to myself because it's really, you know, as great as your SEO is, it's really unreliable. You can't rely solely on SEO to do paid search, to show up on the search engine results pages, because even though the concept is great, like, of course, who wouldn't want to show up for free? The problem is, if you want leads from the SERPs, you're not going to be able to do this just relying on an organic strategy. And to prove that, I can show you, here's a search engine results page, and you can see this high commercial intent search. If you look at the numbers, 64.6% of clicks are actually coming from paid ads, as compared to 35.4%. So that's pretty significant shift, like leaning towards that. Those high commercial intent, people are actually going to buy your products. Those people are advertising. So if you want to, get more sales and get more clicks and traffic to your website, you can't just rely on SEO. It's just not going to work for you.
I think this is a really important point to make. I can't tell you how many people say, well, no one clicks on the ads. It's just not true. There's numbers here to prove it. People want to click on the ads because ads are compelling. You have the opportunity to add images, to add extensions, really provide people with more information. So that concept, nobody on the ads, is 100% outdated, and the information, the numbers that Margot is showing you here, they're so compelling.
Exactly. It's such a good point. Like, you cannot control exactly what you're showing up for by just relying on SEO. You don't have that granular level control of selecting which keywords, how you want your ads to look, what you want them to say, those high commercial intent searches that people are searching to buy. You can't just say, oh, well, if I have great SEO, I'll definitely show up. It's not even close to guaranteed, and in fact, it's probably less likely that you're going to appear, and much less likely that you're going to get clicked on because you're not in the top spots. And then you need to think about those situations, like if your bathtub is overflowing, do you think that you're going to click on this first paid ad or an organic listing? Like, you're not going to scroll down like, oh, this one looks good. Like, you're going to call the first ad that you see, and also the one that is easiest to interact with. So you can see through paid advertising, you can actually set up these call buttons where people can call you directly and reach you at that really crazy moment where their bathtub's overflowing. Need to get you right then. They're not going to scroll down, find your organic listing, and then type in your number into their phone. They're going to press that call button and get to you as quickly as possible.
Right, and if you look at that first ad, like, you're literally a crazy person to not choose that. Right? I mean, you get $50 off. You can call easily, like Margot said, and they have all these guarantees and special offers. Like Margot said earlier, this is an ad that was created to be clicked on. The other one is just a jumbled set of really just jumbled words about the company. It's not remotely compelling.
And that's because that person doesn't have control. They don't have control to create their ad copy and make it compelling. If you're relying on SEO, you don't have that control. And also, you can see here, mobile, we all know it's a year of mobile, year after year, but it is true. Mobile has grown insanely drastically over the years. You can see from 2011, that mobile, that darker line is representing mobile traffic. You can see that it's completely trumping desktop traffic, but even more importantly is that SEO is not even relevant on mobile anymore. When you're on your phone, you're likely only going to see those first two spots on the search engine results page, and guess what? Those are ads. Like you can see in this image here, those two first spots, they're both paid advertisements. People are doing paid search. Your competitors are. Everyone out there is doing it. So if you're not jumping on that bandwagon, then you're not going to be able to capture that huge, huge mobile audience. The opportunity is just, ridiculously huge. So you need to be there at those moments. People are searching on their phones and trying to find you. And something really, really funny is a lot of our customers are always like, why would I ever bid on like my own branded terms? Like, that makes no sense. Of course I'm going to show up for those branded searches. But Bing actually did a really great study recently which proves that if you're not bidding on your branded searches, you're going to be losing about 32% of clicks and traffic to your website that you could be gaining. So you even want to be bidding on those branded keywords to ensure that you're getting the maximum amount of real estate on the SERP that you can. A lot of the reasoning behind that is that a lot of your competitors are probably bidding on your branded terms. So you need to make sure that you are capturing the largest audience as possible instead of just relying on organic, where you can see if you're just relying on organic, you're only going to get just a little over half of the traffic for those searches. So you want to have, both strategies in place of not only, optimizing your website for organic traffic, but also having that paid strategy in place and bidding on those branded terms. And the last one I really want to drive home here is that SEO is so turbulent. Like, it's always changing. I'm sure anyone who's been in the industry for a while and knows exactly all about the algorithm changes that happen. Penguin and Panda, they've literally killed people's presence on the search.
People live in fear of these.
Yeah.
Like, SEOs live in fear because they don't know when or what is going to change. I mean, that's not a strategy to advertise for a business by. It's really scary.
Right, like Google has all the power in their hands with SEO, and you don't want that. You don't want somebody driving, your marketing strategy. You want to be in the driver's seat. You want to have that control. Paid search allows that. SEO, not so much. And the last thing that I want to make sure to clarify is that we're not against SEO at all at WordStream. We actually love SEO. It's a great thing. What you should be doing is using SEO for your content strategy. So making sure that your content is optimized, for a positive SEO strategy to get the maximum amount of visibility you can, drive evergreen traffic, that nature. You need to combine SEO and PPC to really win, to really gain those, high commercial intent searches, but then also gain, traffic to your website organically. So don't, steer away from SEO, but just make sure that you're using these two together. They can be good friends and work together. All right, so Erin's going to take point number 2, so I'm going to hand it over to her now.
So this is one that we hear so frequently, which is AdWords is just too expensive for my business. And the reality here is AdWords is only really expensive if you're not getting a good return on investment, right? I mean, if you're getting a good ROI, the money will be well worth it to you. One of the biggest misconceptions I want to start out with is, let me skip to this first. So first, I think one of the biggest problems is a lot of people don't understand PPC or know how to use it. So they make grave errors as they set up their structure, their keywords. They don't use negatives. They don't use wise bidding strategies. Oftentimes they'll cram search and display together or use them in the wrong fashion, not understanding that each of these networks has their own specific purpose. And if you're doing it the wrong way and you're not paying attention to these details, you absolutely won't get a good ROI. Now, moreover, I think a lot of the reasons we have these misconceptions about PPC is because we know it starts with an auction, right? Everyone's familiar with the AdWords auction. But what they aren't always familiar with is the formula behind that auction. So when I hear auction, I think, of like Sotheby's or like Christie's, where you're there and you're trying to fight for the top spot, right? You're doing everything you can. You're outbidding your competitors, and you're trying to put as much money up front as possible to get whatever it is that you want. Well, of course, if AdWords worked this way, it probably would be too expensive. But the reality with the AdWords auction is it kind of favors the little guys. So the way the AdWords auction formula works is ad rank is determined by a combination of your max bid and your quality score. It's not solely a bidding war. We have this concept of the quality score to allow those smaller guys to compete with the bigger guys, to allow people who don't want to spend an arm and a leg on PPC to still have a leg up. The quality score, as you can see, if you have a higher quality score, the likelihood of getting a good ad rank starts to increase. In conjunction with that, your price will be lower if you have a high quality score. So to determine the cost per click for AdWords, we look at the ad rank of the person below you, we divide that by your quality score, and then for some reason AdWords like to tack on a penny, right? So as you can see, the higher that denominator is, the higher your quality score is, the lower you pay. So you're probably all thinking like, okay, what is this secret weapon, this quality score to help me cut my costs and really give me a leg up? Well, it's Google's way of making sure that our ads are relevant. So Google assigns a score between 1 and 10, deeming whether or not for a particular keyword, the keyword, the ad, and the landing page follow a strong string of relevancy. And if this is the case, they'll award you a higher quality score, thus giving you a discount and a layup in terms of your ad rank. So as advertisers who want to cut costs, who are worried that AdWords is too expensive, this is something we really need to focus on. And the reason that Google does this is because they're totally a customer-centric company. Like, there is a reason that we say, I'm going to go Google that. We're not saying I'm going to go, like, what was the old one, like Dogpile, or I'm going to go, like, answers.com that. Like, let's bang it, right? Right. We're not going to be like, I'm going to go Ask Jeeves. We say, I'm going to Google it. And the reason we're going to Google it is because we trust Google. Google is a reliable search engine. The results they give us are the best results that we're going to find. And they don't just want that to be for their SEO results. They also want to make sure that their ads are highly relevant. And so if you can give them this relevance, this kind of ideal situation for their searchers, you're helping them be a better search engine. And they want to encourage this positive, good behavior. So for example, here, I would guess that Zappos has an incredibly high quality score for whatever term this is. Because look at this combination, right? Somebody searches for men's leather shoes size 9. We see men's in the ad. We see size 9 in the ad. We see shoes, right? It's completely reflective of what they're looking for. And then they drive that home with the landing page. Because when we land on Zappos landing page, not only do we see men's shoes, but they are all leather. They are all size 9. This is highly, highly specific to what the searcher is looking for. This is the perfect experience. And this is what we should be striving to do to really cut costs. So, long story short, you need to be well aware of how this works. You need to focus on doing it right. And you also need to remember, you're in control, right? You are setting your budgets. You are setting your spending limits for AdWords. And if you're like a and you really set numbers that make sense for you and your business, you will not overspend in AdWords. Maintain that control, and you will see that you can control your AdWords costs. All right, and that brings us to number 3.
Awesome. So I'm going to take over this one, and basically this misconception is that AdWords traffic just doesn't convert. Like, the traffic I get from paid search is just junk. It's not converting. And the reality is that I hate to say it, because I don't want to point fingers at you, but you're probably doing something or several things wrong. So this is, definitely a problem. And one of them, you're falling into the eBay trap. So this is kind of just something that we've coined here at WordStream because of what eBay did a few years ago. Larry Kim actually wrote a post kind of documenting what happened. But basically, they were kind of trying to take the easy way out by using dynamic keyword insertion. So that's when somebody types into the search query box, they can type in basically anything, and then it can dynamically insert that search into the headline of your ad. The problem with that is it can work really, really well if you're doing it right, but if you're not, it can be disastrous. So this instance, eBay was basically targeting a set of insanely broad keywords that really could be interpreted, any which way. So you can see here, someone just typed love into Google, and then eBay's ad appeared saying, buy it cheap on eBay, low prices, new and used. It's like, what? What does that even mean? Another example here, someone typed in baby into the search engine box, cheap on eBay, low prices and used. So you can see that they're just basically targeting any keyword, any and every keyword that they can. So if you want to be using this strategy, you need to be targeting a tight set of keywords on, exact, phrase, modify, broad. Using broad keywords with this is just not going to work. So you need to understand, how match types interact with keywords and how dynamic keyword insertion works if you want to use it properly. If you're not familiar with it, then you might want to steer clear of it for some time because it can result in this sort of disastrous eBay disaster that they fell into. And the next thing you want to be cognizant of is your structure. So Erin was talking about this a little bit with quality score, and basically, if your account is not structured well, you're going to run into a lot of issues, and likely AdWords isn't going to work for you. But this can be combated by structuring your account. So you need to think really cautiously about how the keywords that you're getting are ad copy, and then where that ad copy is directing, what landing page it's directing to. A lot of companies come on board with us at WordStream, and they actually have to start and create entirely new landing pages to ensure that their paid search experience is as relevant as possible. You want, those keywords to be semantically related throughout the entire process. So if I'm typing in affordable baby gifts into Google, I want it to lead to an ad that says that in the title, affordable baby gifts. So you can see here we have two options. I click on the first one, and the page that I'm directed to, actually, it just says gifts for any occasion. So that's not exactly what I was looking for. It's not an awful experience. The Honest Company is catered to baby products, but it could be more relevant. So you need to put yourself in those shoes and think, how can I make this experience as relevant as possible so that people are actually going to convert?
And for this one, it's like, look, this person typed in affordable baby gifts. Like, they're looking for something that's cheap, and your landing page shouldn't hesitate to reflect that. If you are like a low-cost solution and you want to match with people who are looking for low-cost solutions, make sure that's prominent on your landing page. If you are a really expensive luxury hotel and you are bidding on terms that reflect luxury, make sure that your landing page reflects that. You don't have to offer tons of deals on this landing page. What you should offer is this experience that matches what they're looking for. So it doesn't just connect with giving people the item that they're looking for, but also the attributes associated with that item that they have indicated they're looking for.
Right, exactly. So, if someone's searching for affordable, like Erin said, it shouldn't just say gifts. It should say affordable gifts. It should, if you have discounts and such offers, it should reflect it on the landing page. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is revamping your landing pages. So if you want to, see how your landing pages are doing, we actually have a free tool through WordStream. You can quickly just throw in your information, and we'll actually give your landing page a grade to see how it ties in with your AdWords performance and see how your keywords, ads, and landing pages are all related, and see if you're really nailing this or you need some help with it. So try out the tool. It's completely free. It can really give you a sense if you do need to kind of, re-strategize your landing page experience. And the next thing that you should be doing is remarketing. So this is so important. I really want to drive this point home because so often people are saying, oh, AdWords doesn't work. But the problem is they're only targeting these top of the funnel leads who are typing in something into Google, they're searching, and then they're kind of moving throughout their day. Nowadays, all of us have like total ADD. Like we're searching for something, and then the next second we're like on our iPad, or we're talking to one of our coworkers. Whatever's going on, it's so easy to get distracted, and a lot of these buying cycles are becoming much longer. So what you need to do is reinforce your message by remarketing to people after they've already searched for you. So basically, how you do this is you set up a pixel on your site, and then you can show your ads to people when they're browsing around on other sites. So say, I was searching for a pair of shoes, needed fall boots. I searched for that on Google. I went to the landing page, but then I decided I wasn't quite ready to buy, or I got distracted. Then later on, a few days later, I can see that when I'm on a different site, whether it be Facebook, Amazon. And then it's kind of like reminding me, you wanted to buy these fall boots, check them out. So it really reinforces that process and ties that sales cycle together.
I can't tell you how many things I've bought due to remarketing. It's like, I don't know. I probably spend tons of money on it. And I know what's going on. Like, I am such a dummy because I know that they're remarketing to me, but I can't help it. It's like, it keeps bringing it up in your mind. I bought like literally $60 worth of ice cream last year because I had looked at this ice cream website, this ridiculously expensive gourmet ice cream, and it followed me around to the point where I was like, it's meant to be. I need to order this. I was like craving it. I was dreaming about it. Remarketing works even for people who do it every single day.
Right, it does.
It works
for us all the time. It's kind of pathetic, but it works, so definitely you should be doing it. And the last thing is a lot of people keep saying, oh, AdWords doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for my business, but the problem is that they're not properly tracking conversions. So whether it be conversions directly occurring on your site or through phone calls. So many people are getting so many phone calls and so much business from their accounts, from their AdWords strategy, and they're not tracking these. This is absolutely a necessity. If phone calls are important to your business and you're collecting leads this way, you need to be tracking them. And there's so many solutions out there that does this. WordStream even has one ourselves. And what you can do is basically you can see which keyword, ad group, and campaign that conversion over the phone came from. So if someone types into Google, dog grooming in this example, they go to your website, they click on that phone call, they connect with someone at your business, and then you can track to see if that person converted depending on how long they were on the phone. Then you can tie that back to the exact keyword that came from. You can understand how valuable certain keywords, ad groups, and campaigns are to generate conversions for your business, so you know how to better allocate your budget. This is so important, because if you're not properly tracking these, you're really, you're not even sure how you're actually doing, and you might think you're doing, very poorly when you're actually doing very well.
Yeah, I think this really comes into play with mobile. I know a lot of people who are like, oh, my mobile conversion rates totally stink. I can't get conversions on mobile. Well, hopefully a good portion of your mobile conversions are coming in the form of phone calls. And if you're not tracking them, of course it's going to look like those conversions aren't coming in. So you really need to be using some sort of call tracking service or device to figure out what's happening. Otherwise, you may not prioritize something that is actually driving a ton of traffic to you.
All right, so moving right along to number 4, I'm going to hand it off to Erin to take this one.
All right, yeah, number 4 is managing an AdWords account is a full-time job. And you're right, it totally can be. In fact, for many people, it is. But it doesn't have to be. And I think, that's really important for a lot of people out there who are hesitant to embark in AdWords or feel that they aren't able to give it their all because they don't have a ton of time. There are solutions out there that can help you manage a really, really robust account without taking over your everyday work hours. So there's certain things you can do in your account that are going to dramatically help you cut down on the amount of time you spend in it. Deleting keyword clutter. This sounds so trivial, but it is so important. Deleting useless ads as well. If there are keywords and ads in your account that aren't garnering impressions, they've been running for a long time, and you've set competitive bids for them, get rid of them. You can keep them in there hoping something will happen, but the amount of time you spend rooting through these keywords, the amount of time you spend kind of ignoring them while you're trying to get to the meat of your account, it's just a waste. So get rid of those. You can always add new keywords later. There's always more iterations you want to include, but you don't have to have everything in there at all times. I also recommend implementing ad customizers. These came out in early 2015. They are probably one of the coolest things that's happened in AdWords this year, and they're really, really simple. The concept of these ad customizers is they allow you to dynamically insert information, smart information into your ad. Not like that crappy old dynamic keyword insertion like we saw eBay doing, where you're literally plugging in your keywords. No, we're looking for something a little bit more robust, a little bit more sophisticated. Ad customizers can be used to insert specific locations. They can be used to insert product attributes. And most importantly, they can be used to insert countdowns. If you're counting down to a sale, plug that information in. It's just a small script you add in. You don't have to update it every day and that gets closer to the close of your sale. AdWords will automatically say 2 days left to sale, 1 day left to sale, whatever that may be. So that will make your life way easier, and they have been incredibly powerful thus far. And then finally, especially for those of you who are a little bit more technically savvy, try using scripts. You can do a million different things with scripts. You can set all sorts of rules in your account. We recommend them for reporting. You know, reporting can be a huge time suck. If you're running AdWords, it's really something you should be doing in order to assess your account performance and just share that account performance with other people. And running scripts will help you do this more efficiently. You won't have to, pull all the information out and plug it into a spreadsheet yourself. It'll automatically create this information for you. There are tons of websites online where you can find free scripts. If anybody is having trouble finding them, reach out to us. We can kind of point you in the right direction. But there's just tons of great stuff out there. It's true that AdWords management should be continuous and ongoing. I don't want to advocate that you come in once a month, make a couple quick improvements, and be done. It's something you should be doing on a weekly basis. It's something that should continue after the account's set up. I can't tell you how many people set up their account and they're like, all right, I'm done. No, it's an ongoing optimization that you should be doing. And sure, most of us feel like we don't have time for that, and that's fair. So turn to tools and automation. There are a lot of tools out there that can help you do this. WordStream has a tool in WordStream Advisor. It's called the 20-Minute Workweek. It is awesome. It helps you do all of your basic optimization steps in just 20 minutes a week. If you can set aside 20 minutes every Monday to come in and do these key components, adding negatives, adding keywords, boosting your ads, optimizing your bids, basic things you should be doing on a monthly or a weekly basis, will give you all of the information you need. All you have to do is officially make the decision to move forward with them. So this is a really good tool. There's tons of tools out there to help you save time spent in PPC, but the key is doing it on a very regular basis. And I'm confident that all of us have 20 minutes a week that they can spare for something like this. I recently read a stat that people spend 2 hours a day on Facebook. So if you can cut out just like a little bit of your Facebook stalking and browsing, you can probably spend that time doing this.
And if you think about like how much money it would cost to hire someone doing this full time, like all that analysis can seriously take 40 hours a week. Right. This puts everything together, simplifies it, it scrapes your account and does an analysis for you. Then you have the control to go through and choose what you want. So you still have that granular control. You don't have to hire that extra employee to do it. It's kind of the best of both worlds. So definitely try it out. We're all obsessed with it here, obviously. A little bit biased, but still.
No, it's like all the brutal grunt work is gone, and you can focus on kind of the important stuff, those final decisions. And lastly, Margot's coming in with number 5. AdWords is hard.
Woohoo! AdWords is hard. You guys, it is hard, but it's actually not that hard to learn, I promise. I know it seems super intimidating. Like, I can totally relate. I remember when I first started at WordStream, my AdWords knowledge was extremely limited. I was like, had a very basic knowledge of how the SERPs work, how the ad auction works, but I got up to speed so quickly. Like, you can learn it. It's not rocket science. Believe me, I didn't go to Harvard. I'm not an idiot, but I didn't go to Harvard. But still, I was able to learn it. I'm a certified expert now. I really, truly believe that anyone can master PPC if they just put a little time into it. And there's so many resources out there. It's insane. So many free resources. Which is a complete free resource through our site where there's so much content. There's PPC Chat. This is a live chat that takes place every single Tuesday at 12 where you can learn from some of the smartest industry experts out there. They're all there to answer your questions. You can tweet directly at them, participate in the conversation. There's seriously so many things you can do to get up to speed on WordStream. You can use the Google AdWords blog. You can look at the Bing blog. There's so many free resources there. So don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. Just put in some time and really learn how to do it, and you'll be doing it well. I guarantee it. All right, now Callie's going to review some special offers with you guys.
Great, thanks, ladies. That was awesome. So I have another poll question, but this is some special offers for you guys that we want to give you the chance to take advantage of. So first and foremost, we have a free live demo of the WordStream Advisor. So Margot and Erin talked a lot about our software, and this is something that can definitely help you guys. Like they mentioned, you can manage your PPC in 20 minutes a week. So definitely take advantage of talking to one of our AdWords certified consultants, and they'll walk you through how the product works and how it can benefit you. Next up, we have a one-on-one AdWords assessment. Again, this is with one of our AdWords certified consultants, where they'll take you through your account, kind of point you in the direction of where you can make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time, and also show you what you're doing really well so that you can continue on that path. Now, I want to take the opportunity to get to some questions. Feel free to keep answering the poll with the special offers. Again, this is a one-time deal, so definitely be sure to take advantage. All right, ladies. Now, let's start with this question. What is a good amount of time to initially, time and money to initially put towards Google AdWords to kind of figure out if you're going to see positive results?
That is a great question, and I hate to answer it with it depends, but it does. I think, look, from a time perspective, I think a lot of that is dependent on how much volume you have out there. If you're working with something where there is very low search volume, you're going to have to give it a little while, right? You're going to have to give it a while to kind of prove out whether or not your ads are connecting with people, whether or not people are converting, and unfortunately, it will take quite a bit of time. It could take several weeks, months. On the flip side, if there is a ton of volume, then you have a very different experience. From a quality score perspective, I will tell you, your scores will probably start out lower. It takes, as you make positive changes, it takes Google a little while to reflect the change in quality score in your account, sometimes 4 to 6 weeks. So don't be discouraged if you start out with low quality scores and don't see them changing quickly.
Right. I mean, it's definitely more of a marathon rather than a sprint. You need to be patient. Like, you're not going to set up your account and then see the conversions trickling in a few days later. It takes time and it takes patience and it takes some trial and error too. But once you do nail it down, you're going to start seeing those results. I guarantee it. Like Erin said, if you're a smaller business, it's just going to take even longer. So just be patient. Learn what you're doing before you start doing it, and I guarantee that you'll see success over time. Just don't get too antsy, because people tend to get a little bit antsy too quickly and then ditch it when they really could, be tripling their conversions that they're getting if they actually stick with it. So.
And then I think the other piece of that question was, what's an appropriate budget to be setting? Again, totally depends on what you're working with and the pricing of those keywords. I would recommend spending a little bit of time in the Google Keyword Planner to get a good sense for the keywords that you have in mind, where the average pricing is coming in. Consider your geographic targeting, a really good sense of what the kind of the thresholds you're going to see are.
And I would usually start small. Start with your best sellers. People are people are actually searching for these things. They want these things. Say you're a tennis retail store and you sell tennis rackets, tennis shoes, and all different things, but tennis rackets are what people are actually trying to buy. Start with a campaign targeting those. Start with the budget that you can allot, and then build out from there. So once you kind of nail down that strategy and how everything works, then you can take your budget to the next level as time goes on.
Especially if you're selling something like a tennis racket that people might also buy additional, okay, this person plays tennis. Hey, once they buy a tennis racket, let's then target them with ads to buy other accessories that go along with it. Then you can really start to product people who are already becoming loyal customers. So I think you can kind of build those types of campaigns out over time.
Cool. Next question. Can you have ads appear by location based on IP address of the searcher? For example, say somebody's looking for an emergency dentist. How would you go about kind of geo-targeting in that manner?
Yeah, so you can target based on, I believe you can target based on IP address, right, and exclude IP addresses as well.
Yeah, exclude IP addresses, and yeah, I mean, they're basically just focusing on the user's location. I recommend looking at the advanced. When you look at location settings, you're going to automatically target anybody who's physically locating in or demonstrates interest in a particular area.
Right, and you can target by, if you do look in advance, you can target by radius. You can select like the exact radius.
Zip code, radius.
If you're a dental storefront and you know that like people are only going to come in if they're within 5 miles of your store, then you can set that up and target just that 5-mile radius around your store.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are a lot of granular controls. Like I said, just go to advanced settings and figure out, you know, what distance is best for you.
Great. Now we have a lot of questions coming in about quality score. Excuse me. So let's start with how can they find out what their current quality score is?
Sure. So you can find that out directly in the AdWords interface. There's a column. When you're in AdWords, there's a column that says quality score. If you don't see it in there, you can actually customize your columns and pull that column in. And that's tied to different levels of your account. So you can see the quality score of each individual keyword, or you can see the quality score of your ad groups or your campaigns. So you can see that, you know, what quality score is on each level. But in terms of, you know, improving your quality score, I would look at it based on the keyword level.
Yeah, definitely focus on a keyword by keyword basis.
Great. Now the next question regarding quality score is how does someone directly impact their quality score? Like how can they quickly make it improve?
Yeah. I mean, I think we know that one of the biggest factors in quality score is your click-through rate. That's what you should be focusing on, is improving your click-through rate. There are so many ways to do this. This could be improving your ads to make them more compelling and garner more clicks, right? If you can engage with that searcher, if they find something relevant, interesting, they're going to click on your ad. It needs to be highly reflective of the keyword that they're searching for. So you might want to create tighter ad groups so you can use really specific ads for those keyword groupings. You should use extensions to make your ads bigger, more visible, and provide more information to the searcher.
And look at match types too. Like sometimes people are, they'll notice that their click-through rates are really low on broad match keywords because they're bringing in like all of these irrelevant searches. You know, if you're targeting like, you know, champagne flutes, you could be showing up for like musical flutes. Like you could show up for saxophones on broad match. Like there's so much flexibility in it. So you might want to try to get more restrictive with your match types, or set up negatives, right? So just, you know, paying attention to click-through rate, working on your keyword strategy, making sure everything's super relevant. Those are really the main things.
If you're striving to be a good advertiser, if you're striving to give people the best experience possible with your ads and the most relevant experience possible, quality scores will follow.
Right.
Right? So like, do what you know is best for people. Give them the best ads you can, the most relevant landing pages you can, and kind of if you have this strategy in mind, you should see a positive impact on quality scores.
Great. Next question, we have time for just a few more, but do you recommend using all modified broad keywords?
No.
No.
No, we don't. Modified broad is awesome. Modified broad is my favorite match type, personally.
Yeah,
it's so cool. But that doesn't mean that you can limit your strategy to just use modified broad. There is a time and a place to use pretty much every match type. Broad is great if you bump down your bids and use it for keyword research. You have to be very cognizant of what you're doing with it. You have to be setting negatives. It's not a bad thing to use. Exact match is also going to be great. Oftentimes when I use exact match, I will bump up my bids because I know that the searchers who are exactly matching to these particular terms are highly, highly relevant and highly likely to be one of my most qualified candidates. Right? So I want to make sure that my ad rank is good. I want to make sure I'm showing up for them, and I'm willing to spend a little bit more. So, you know, be smart about match types. Use tiered bidding systems, but don't solely use modified broad. It's a good jumping off point.
It's important to have a mix too, because like typically you're going to see with exact and phrase keywords, like they're going to get higher click-through rates and better quality scores. Not always. It's not a rule of thumb, but they are more like targeted to what you're actually that person is searching. So everything's more relevant. So that kind of click-through rates and quality scores come with that. With that said, you can have awesome quality scores and click-through rates with the other match types. You just want to use a mix and see what works. You're going to get more impressions and volumes when you're using modified, broad, and broad. So there's really a balance and kind of some trial and error when you're experimenting with match types, but never ever limit yourself to one match type.
Alrighty, now how many keywords should you be bidding for?
So there's no answer to that. Yeah, it just depends. What you do want to make sure to do is have really tightly, like very small ad groups. You want to have, like, Google suggests 20 to 30. I think you can keep them even smaller, like 10 to 15 keywords each ad group, because you don't want to have your keywords like bidding against each other. So you want to keep things tightly knit and super relevant. It really depends on like what you're going after, and like if you're targeting let's say you're selling like shoes or something like that, you'd want to have different ad groups for each kind of style, brand of shoe, and then you want to have a small, tightly knit keyword list, so you're sending the most relevant keyword searches to the most relevant ads. So I'd say like typically like smaller lists the better, but with that said, there's really no set number of keywords.
Great. Now, hopefully this is an easy one to end on for you ladies. Do AdWords work for businesses offering free goods and services?
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Only free goods and services?
Right. Like, I mean, let's dive into this more. What is a free good or service? Are you offering a free good or service to get people interested in what you're doing, and then you're gonna cross-sell or upsell them on something that does cost money? Then yeah, great. This is a great way to. I mean, we do that here at WordStream. We use paid search to get people to sign up for free white paper downloads. We're not done there. Then we put them into our marketing mix, and we try and encourage them to buy our product. So yes, you can promote free offers. You can certainly advertise for free anything. It will probably absolutely pull in conversions. Will you make a good return on investment? Well, if you're not offering anything that costs money, then no, probably not.
Right.
But it's certainly not illegal to advertise free things on AdWords, and you probably will see good results. But do you have anything on that?
I was going to say, like, B2B companies definitely use AdWords and really successfully, and typically they're sending people to, like Erin said, white papers and ebooks and content that's free, quote unquote free, but they're doing this so they can then further nurture them. So it works if you have like a nurture program in place where you're getting these leads in through paid search, but then you're following them with remarketing offers. So you're bringing it full circle. So it absolutely can work. Setting them to free offerings, as long as you have a strategy to convert them down the line, because of course you want that return.
Great. Well, thank you ladies very much for joining me today, and thank you all for tuning in to Margot and Erin's presentation. I am just thankful for your time, and I definitely would encourage you to email us and connect with us on Twitter if we didn't have time to get to your question, or if you want to discuss anything covered today in more detail. Again, just a quick note that the presentation will be shared with all of you via email shortly, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks, guys.